What's going on, everybody out there? MVP Sports Talk Radio live in Attleboro, Massachusetts, WARA Studios. Just myself in studio right now. Tim should be joining us shortly. For those that don't know, my name is Nick, and I am the host here at MVP Sports Talk Radio. Should have Tim in studio in a little bit. He's running a little late. No Ryan and Drew tonight because with the holidays comes crazy job requirements, and yeah, that just messes up everybody's schedule. So we're working through that, and hopefully things will start to iron out a little bit more shortly. So don't get too frustrated yet. We do have the first break coming up, as it always does. Happens pretty shortly. So what we'll do is get that break out of the way when it pops up right away, and hopefully by then, Tim will be here. If not, don't panic. This isn't my first rodeo, and we'll get it done. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. Now, tough time of the year always because, you don't have basketball going on. You don't have hockey going on. You do have some hockey transactions happening here and there. A little bit of basketball moves around the NBA for trades. But it's always a tougher time of the year with only football going on. And then pretty soon football ends and you have that awkward time of just no sports pretty much whatsoever. So, as we work through that, we got a ton to talk about regarding Patriots, the NFL as a whole, your weekly gambling advice, which, by the way, the lock of the weeks are now 3-1, which is not a bad little statistic there. We're doing pretty well. 3-1's not too bad. Every lock of the week is 2 picks, which will give you the chance to double your money. So, if you played all 4 times, then, you've won 3, you've lost 1, so you've done pretty well and actually doubled your money twice. So, a +2 average is pretty good. But with that top of the hour break is here. We're going to get it out of the way. We'll be back. I just seen Tim pulling up out front, so when you come back, we will both be here in studio to blabber for you for about an hour and change tonight. So stick around. 508-222-1320. Welcome back. MVP Sports Talk Radio live in Attleboro, Mass. Tim's back with us, so it won't just be me jabbering my ear off for an hour.
Couldn't let you sink the ship.
Exactly. So, I think we'll kind of let you take it away for the first few minutes. I guess if you want to just brush on NBA, I know a couple trades happening. Maybe your thoughts on the Celtics saying they're not going to go after Harden, and just NBA stuff. I know it's harder without Drew or Ryan.
Where they at? Why aren't they calling in? What's going on here?
Drew's got work. Ryan's got work.
Oh man. Everyone's got work. Work. Yeah, man. I mean, I just think that James Harden's not a fit here. It kind of goes back to the whole Kyrie Irving thing, where Kyrie wanted to have the ball in his hands and things like that. And Harden's a player, man. Like, we saw it when he was with Westbrook, right? Those guys didn't gel because there's two players that demand the ball. And I think if he comes here, him and Tatum will, obviously clash heads. And then, you have guys like Jaylen Brown that are going to be, compressed because they're not going to be able to open up to what their game is. I would think that it would take one of those two anyways in a trade to get Harden. Most likely, you'd probably send Brown because I think that Tatum's ceiling is higher, and plus Brown has a team-friendly contract. But, I just don't think listen, we don't need a perimeter player at this stage in the game. What we need is someone who can play inside as far as a big, whether it's a power forward, whether it's a center, someone that can really stretch the floor, because when you get teams, you run into the Miami Heats where they can play small ball, they can play big inside. We just don't have that big man to kind of control the paint and to set the tone as far as rebounds go. So I don't think that the answer lies in fear of the beard and bringing him here. I think it's kind of silly. I definitely would like to see them go out after again a power forward or a center. So I'm not surprised, and hopefully it doesn't. I don't see it happening. I think it's pretty much dead. I think at this point where he'll end up, if he moves out of Houston, will probably be in Brooklyn.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
So I know 103 mil. What, 2 year? I think it was.
2 years. Yep.
Turned it down. So chances are he's leaving.
Right.
I don't think you turn out $103 million for 2 years with an intent to stay.
Unless if you want a longer contract. That's the only way you do that.
Yeah.
But I honestly haven't had the time to really pay attention to what his contract is. I don't know if this is his final year or not. I just know that clearly whatever's going on in Houston hasn't worked. I think it is his final year.
Yeah, I thought so from what I read.
Yeah.
Which would make 3 years total.
Right. So he's had a few people out there. He had Chris Paul. He couldn't make it work. He had Russell Westbrook. Couldn't make it work. I think that he just demands a different style of player than a point guard. Again, it reminds me really of Jason Tatum reminds me of him, because Tatum doesn't need a point guard to be great. He needs a rebounding specialist to be great. Yeah. And I think that that's one of the things that will hold him back from seeing his potential, because we have a great point guard but not a great rebounder.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And Tatum's the kid that he's going to sit there and he's going to huck up threes, and if there's nobody getting rebounds, it really hurts. So.
Yeah, it strikes him that Harden more wants to win. I feel like, he's got the money, much like a lot of athletes that just want that ring.
But I will tell you, if he goes to Brooklyn, it's a horrible move for his career.
Yeah, so I'm not too savvy on basketball.
So you have Kevin Durant, you have Kyrie Irving.
Yeah,
two guys already demand the ball.
Yeah.
And then you're going to take it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to be Boston 2.0 for Kyrie. It might work because maybe KD goes in the role that he had when he was in Golden State. I don't see it happening. I really don't. I'd be very surprised. But outside of that, I know there was a couple of bigger other trades that kind of really, I wouldn't say hurt the Celtics, but it didn't help them out, right? So they had their eyes on Drew Holiday. They obviously missed out on him. I believe he went to Milwaukee. So that was a big domino to fall. There were some other key trades that went down that Celtics had their name in the hat, and it just didn't work out for them. And now I'm hearing things like Gordon Hayward being traded out to it will come to me. I just read about it too. Give me a minute.
What is that noise?
I don't know. I was going to ask you. I thought that was your phone.
No.
Yeah. I really thought that was your phone.
I just started doing it too.
I really just thought that was your phone.
I wonder if it's one of these cameras not working right.
Maybe. maybe. So I forget who it was going to. Sorry, but they're talking about potentially trading Gordon Hayward. That's going to be interesting if that happens. And I hope that if they do that they can take whatever piece they get and trade it in for a center or a power forward. That's obviously on the table too. So hopefully they figure it out. Al Horford just left the 76ers. He's on his way to Oklahoma. So it's pretty much one and done there. Looked like that wasn't the key for the championship team over there. So it's interesting to see what the 76ers do now too. That's another team that you can see Harden going to. I think him and Embiid together would be pretty scary for the rest of the league.
Yeah, sorry, I was just sharing that link. That noise is bugging the heck out of me. I started doing it since you got here. I wonder if it's the heater vent.
I don't know.
It's something. Sounds like an old toy. Like I think the Transformer toy used to do that noise.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
They're like,
yep,
Blastoise or something.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I just wanted to touch on NBA a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like everyone's trying to get these power teams, and then 90% of them fail because it's just hard to get a mesh with 3 or 4 power players. I don't really know if I see Harden fitting on any team than where he's at. It's just he doesn't strike me as a type to like mend well with a bunch of other players, and maybe that's just total incorrect statement, but I don't know. But diving away from the NBA for a little bit, diving into the NFL and the New England Patriots, and the Patriots taking down the Baltimore Ravens. How do you rate that game as a whole? You think that's like a big statement win, or you think like thank God the weather kind of prevailed? And
it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, so here's one thing I don't understand. Okay, you see all these memes and all these jokes, and you're hearing all these reporters and things like that talking about how the rain helped them. Last time I checked, Baltimore is how many miles south from here?
No, it's only like 400. Not even.
It's not that far.
200.
It's not that far.
That.
It's not that far. Put it this way: it's a 45-minute flight from Providence. It's definitely not 200. I can tell you that. No, I'm gonna guess like 6 something.
It can't be that many.
Yeah, it's like 6 something. It's between 4 and 6.
My God, I've never used Google Maps. There we go. On a computer.
I can tell you right now. So from here,
384.
Yeah, so 384 miles. Okay, so it's about 6 hours in a car, right?
Yeah, 6 hours, 2 minutes.
You mean to tell me that Baltimore doesn't get weather like this? That Baltimore came up here and it was the worst storm they've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, all right, the Atlanta game with the fog, that was pretty reasonable because they play in a dome. Last time I checked, Baltimore, I've been to the stadium. You have too. Okay, they play outside on grass, no dome. They play at night. They play in the rain. They even play in the snow.
Yeah.
What's the excuse? You're an NFL football team. If the reason why you lost was because of the weather, check yourself. At the same time, I do think the weather helped them, and I think more than anything, the center helped them because the center was hot
I would agree there.
garbage. And that guy deserves to be fired like yesterday.
Their whole offensive line was pretty bad.
One thing I will say...
For a mobile quarterback, it's pretty bad.
Right. One thing I will say, actually was with you the other day when we were grabbing lunch and we were listening to our boys Felger and Maz. I really liked I forget who said it, but I think that we've seen Lamar's ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't think that he has any potential to be better than what he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we've seen the speed, we've seen the jukes, we've seen the run game, right? I just don't think his arm is that great as everyone makes it seem. Like, he's got an okay arm. I would say that his arm was underrated coming out of college.
Yeah.
But I don't sit there and go, this guy's going to get better and better and better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think last year was kind of just shell shock to the system where it's like
which
different
I think so too, because we both said that we put him over Mahomes, and I don't think I do that now.
And like I said, once the Titans figured it out, that was it. And Lamar has said it a few times this year where teams know their cadences now. It's
Right.
like they have their playbook at the defensive line.
Right.
It's just a predictable offense once you figure it out. And I
Right.
think Mike Vrabel and the Titans exposed it. I think Belichick started to expose it a little bit, but you saw how that game went. So, but I think generally most teams have a good grasp on it now, and I think the way the Pats played is going to show that more.
Right.
And I think defensively the Pats fare pretty well if the players that need to play show up.
Right.
Gilmore, McCourty, when he has a good game, it shows, right? He had a good
Right.
game against Baltimore. San Fran, terrible game. Terrible second half.
I just think the whole San Fran game, I mean, there was that window after the whole COVID situation where they just, almost even cared to even be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you saw it with Kansas City, and then we went into the next game. Actually, no, the next game was canceled, and then there was Denver game.
Mm-hmm.
The Denver game, realistically, you should have won the Denver game. You were there.
Yeah.
You had a chance. So everyone's looking at their record saying, they're 4-5. Well, they haven't really had any bad blowouts other than San Fran. They lost a close game to Seattle. They lost a good game to the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost a close game to Denver. And then they got blown out by San Francisco. Barely beat the Jets, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they had last week's game.
And I think the weather
Monday.
even played a part into the Pats not performing
Right.
well. I mean, you saw consistent drive, and then they just became complacent and didn't change anything
Dude,
going
it sounds
into
like
the
there's
fourth quarter.
a sheep in here or something, or like a goat.
Yeah, it's bugging me. I don't know what it is. It's weird because I can hear it on this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you. Hopefully, you can't hear it over the air. If you can, I guess it's good because you know what we're talking about.
Right.
Hearing it in my headphones makes me feel that people can hear it over the air. So, Chris is on the live now. So, Chris, if you can hear this weird noise going on, let me know because I have no idea what it is, where it's coming from. It sounds like one of the old retro Transformer toys.
You know what? When we go to break, we're going to have to listen.
Yeah, if it's playing over break, then it's something in studio. Watch, it's not going to do it now. Yeah, it's coming from that corner.
With this camera. Because it just made the noise when it zoomed in. Oh my God. Someone call the tech guy.
James!
Somebody
All right.
get him in here.
With that, we're going to take a quick break. 508-222-1320. Coming back with more Pats talk, more season breakdown, and some NFL talk. So stick around. Again, 508-222-1320. Welcome back. MVP Sports Talk Radio live in Attleboro, WARA Studios. If you're watching the cameras, it's the man of the night, James, the man behind all this madness. And supposedly, I'm going to take his word, he's very knowledgeable. It's just the camera zooming in. Okay? I guess with Ryan not being in here blowing out our ears, we can hear things that we don't normally hear. So that's good news. But diving back on in, getting back into the Pats talk. Going forward, what do we do, Tim? What do we do?
For the Pats?
Yeah, we just going to keep smooth
No.
sailing towards playoffs?
We keep our expectations low. We keep our hopes at a medium. At best, this team's a wild card team. At best.
Yeah, I think Patriots
Although,
Nation.
I will tell you, Buffalo's coming down to earth. They're starting to
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah, I think even it's gonna take me a minute to get used to that. I think even though like they put up a fight against Arizona, I don't really think Arizona's that good of a team. You know, I think they barely beat Seattle, who is a team that everybody's thrown all over for a high caliber offense with some of the best receivers in the league.
Here's the thing, man. The Patriots
it's
put out
just-
the blueprint on how to beat them.
Yeah.
The thing that Russell Wilson doesn't like blitz packages. He doesn't like stunts, and he doesn't like twist on the inside. So when you do that, and you have people that can rush him, he doesn't get comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, all right, Seattle's one of the better premier teams in the league, right?
Yeah, I would argue that.
I don't
Except
know if
last week's performance.
I don't know if I would say that Arizona's not a good team. I mean,
It's not all right. So they're a good team, right? Any team with the talent they have.
it's crazy, man. Like
Kenyon Drake.
the
and
NFL is so hard to predict this year because
That
you
too, yeah, that
don't
too.
know. You don't. Like if I would have told you at the start of the year that Oakland, Tampa Bay, and there was one other team, like all right, maybe Tampa Bay, but like all right, yeah, hey, Oakland's gonna be 6-3 by week 9.
Yeah, Oakland surprised.
Would you have been
me a
like,
bit.
oh yeah? But then if I told you, hey, Oakland's gonna be 6-3, lose to the Patriots who are 4-5.
I think you tell me that Oakland's going to lose to New England and beat KC.
Correct.
Strange.
Correct.
You know, that's strange to me.
It's so unpredictable.
And a lot of it has to do with, so many guys on COVID lists.
Well, we just saw it
sitting.
today. The Raiders just had 10 people.
Yeah. Yep.
It's insane.
I think it might even be higher now.
I saw it
I
earlier.
know
this
KC
afternoon.
has 2. I know Hardman, who's just started becoming a standout receiver for them, is now on the COVID list. Tons of injuries this year. You got McCaffrey on another multi-week injury, second multi-week injury of the year. First game back, injures the shoulder. Entirely separate injury. You got Drew Brees breaking multiple ribs, collapsing lungs. You have Eckler going down. You have Barkley going down. Some of the biggest, 3 of the arguably top running backs in the league are all not active.
Right.
Tons of defensive players going down. You got Trent Richards going down. Crazy year. Tons of injuries. Tons happening. You got tons of opt-outs. It's wild. And then the even crazier thing is now the NFL announces that they're not going to do bubble playoffs, which, maybe you argue that by then the vaccine rolls out. They have money, so I'm sure they're going to purchase vaccines for all the players. But, does every player take the vaccine?
Right.
Not to be that guy, but I don't know if I want to take the vaccine when it comes out. I think I'll let some people be the dummies for it. And
I've always lived by the rule that you never do something when it first comes out.
yeah,
You never buy a new phone when it first comes out. You never buy the new PS5 or the new Xbox when it comes out.
relax.
You don't take a new vaccine when it comes out. You don't buy the first batch of cars when they first come out, because that is where you're going to get your trial and error.
Yeah,
So-
I usually buy the new console because of warranty, but there's no
Well,
warranty on your
doesn't
body.
doesn't matter to me. That's just how I've always lived, and nothing's really going to change that.
No,
So-
the new vaccine is, I'm very skeptical. I know there's 2 different ones, but I'm hesitant to try anything. I get sick from the flu shot all the time. I really don't want to keep injecting stuff
I've
into
had
my
a
body.
flu shot in like 10 years,
Yeah.
and I've been all right. I'm not going to lie.
So, I'm very hesitant on trying stuff like that, not to, put down the vaccine. There's going to be plenty of people that are going to have to get it. My girlfriend included is going to have to get it because she works in a medical facility.
Yeah.
So, but
Listen, I'm perfectly fine wearing a mask for another 3 to 6 months.
yeah,
It's not ideal, but I mean, if it's that or take the vaccine first, I'm going to take the mask every time.
yeah, and I'm just curious with how many athletes, are they going to require it? How many take it? How many don't take it? Are fans going to have to take it to go into attendance?
So I
You saw with
was with Ticketmaster.
Yeah, I was gonna say you saw with Ticketmaster
That's-
where you have to have a vaccine or a negative test.
And you have to have proof on your phone,
Yeah,
which is a little weird to me.
yeah.
So
The negative test, I guess, is a decent option. But if you go to 4 concerts in a year,
yeah, but you know what? It also comes down to the point, like, we've seen in the NFL. Who's to say that Larry Higgins doesn't go out and go to a concert and he's got he's no symptoms and he tests for it and no. The next day he wakes up, he's got COVID.
yeah, I mean we
Same thing as Stephon Gilmore.
We see it in the White House.
We've even seen it in the Patriots.
The White House. You saw they test everybody and anybody, and
Think about it.
it
Gilmore
happens.
tested negative for the Chiefs game. Played in the Chiefs game. After the Chiefs game, next day tested
Yeah.
positive for COVID.
And the NFL players are tested every single
Yeah.
day.
So what does a negative test really do for you?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Not to mention, there's false negatives, there's false positives. You know what I mean? We don't know.
yeah.
Are we going to have fans next year? What's going to happen? We already know there's probably not going to be any March Madness again. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do?
I feel like with March Madness, they're gonna have to figure it out a bit better than they have been. And here he is, our boy Ryan. Ryan, there he is.
Hello?
Oh wait, no, maybe this is Phyllis.
Who's this? Yes,
Stu-
this is Phyllis.
Oh, it
Is
is.
Is this the MVP Sports Talk Radio?
Oh, you know it.
Oh, how you guys doing? I miss my boys. I'm on my way back up to Gloucester from Westerly. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing.
Yeah, you doing?
Yep.
That's nice. So you guys talk about sports, right?
Yeah, and many other
Boy.
things.
I watched some sports over the weekend where they throw the pigskin, the football.
Yep.
Yeah, the game. What was the game? Did you guys see it? There was this really, really tall guy who jumped over like 3 guys. He's the guy with the really long dreadlocks. You know him?
Yeah, I think you're talking about Hopkins.
Philip Lindsay, right?
Oh, Philip Lindsay. Yeah, maybe it was Philip Lindsay.
Who's Lindsay Phillips? Who's that? I've never heard of Lindsay Phillips. Who's that? Anyway, that was a great catch. But you know what?
Say no to smoking,
he doesn't
kids.
Make that catch. He doesn't make that catch unless that great quarterback throws him the ball.
Oh, I don't know about that one, Phyllis.
You know what I mean? That was
Phyllis.
a perfect little old pass.
Phyllis.
And you know what?
Phyllis.
That guy does not catch the ball without him throwing it, right?
Phyllis, can I ask you a question?
That's my take.
Can I ask you a question? When that guy, that quote-unquote great quarterback rolled down the pocket, do you think he could even see down the field?
Of course. What? Of course he saw him down.
All 4'5" of them?
Of course he did. Did you see he kind of ran over to the side? He turned his hips, and he fired an absolute cannon into the end zone.
Sounds like a desperation Hail Mary to me. He said, screw it. D-Hop's down there somewhere.
That was just unbelievable. But you know what? He's won 3 in a row. And who's that other quarterback that you guys said was top 10? He's lost 3 in a row. What's his name? Fontana Bum. That's right. That's right. Didn't he just lose to like some weird little cult team or something?
Yeah, that was a bad loss. I'll give him that.
That was really, really bad.
I'll give Ryan
don't
credit
know.
there. That was a bad loss.
I'll give him credit for that.
I don't give him credit with the D-Hop touchdown. I think you got to thank the Bills safety a lot more than you got to thank the quarterback. Bills safety charges in and knocks the cornerback off the play.
Yeah, you're probably You're probably right.
But I will say, a beautiful pass, beautiful catch, and that's why you pay D-Hop money.
And that's why Bill O'Brien was out of a job.
Yep. It's exactly why Bill O'Brien's out of a job.
Terrible. Absolute.
Why would
horrible.
anyone want to trade that guy? I mean, he's got some of the greatest hair in the league. Have you seen him? Those dreadlocks are just. Is him and Troy Polamalu like best friends? That flow on those dreads, he must use Head and Shoulders. That guy has some of the best hair I've ever seen in the league.
Oh, man.
A little bit of Afro sheen goes a long way.
I think it's Soul Glow.
Soul glow. There you go.
Glow. That's what it is.
Must have went down to 5-Star Barber Shop and got that.
That's Soul Glow.
I'm just pulling back up into work, so I got one question for you guys before I go. And it's about the Patriots and the Ravens game, okay?
What you got? What you got?
Here's your question. Now, do you think in this game, it was a great win. We can all agree on that. It was a great win for the Patriots. Hopefully it turns the season around. Maybe we get some momentum. Maybe Bill stops being a cahoot and actually gives the young kids a chance to play and perform, because those young Bucks really stepped up in that game. But did the Patriots actually win that game, or did the Ravens lose it?
I think it depends on how you look at it. I think the Pats did what they came in to do, what they prepared to do.
They are who we thought they were.
I think every game the Ravens play is their game to win or lose. And I
Phyllis, they are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
We are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
I think we need less Ryan in studio and more Phyllis. I don't know.
Fact.
Yeah, maybe Ryan could put on a wig or something and try and imitate my voice. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that. We'll see if it's in the budget.
Yeah, tell Jim no. Ryan needs a contract extension.
He says he doesn't want to hire Ryan. He wants to hire Phyllis.
Yeah, I'm coming to take his job. You tell that bozo, good-looking, handsome man, Ryan, that he's got to start looking for another job, because Phyllis is on the way in.
Sounds good, Phyllis. We're going to see you in here next week, I hope, then.
You darn right.
Oh, snap. You heard it here first, folks, all right?
I will not. If Ryan misses 3 weeks in a row, you better fire his butt.
I think we have to.
Yeah, you're going to have to fire him.
Everybody's getting fired.
Well, I've got to go in and write some notes on these orders here from work. So you all have a great night.
Phyllis, take care. We love you.
And good
We'll
luck.
see you Wednesday.
And also, before I go, my sincerest condolences to you, Tim and Nick. I know it's a tough time, but I know you guys have a great support system, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, buddy. I love you.
Thank you, buddy.
Love you guys, too. You all have a great show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye, guys.
Bye. So answering Phyllis's question, yeah, I think the Ravens, I think it's the Ravens' game to lose every game. I don't think they bring anything special to the table. And I think when you're making comments like every team's got your playbook, then, really you have to adapt and overcome. I think every team's going to bring the same baseline defense and the same game strategy against you. And it's how you adapt and change to where, you're going to come out with a win. So, New England's not the best team in the league. So I think based on their performance last week, they're going to have to perform if they want any, successful playoff chance. A team like Tennessee can do what New England did. A well-rounded defense with a good run game. You're going to see that in Tennessee. You saw that in KC. You're going to see that in, maybe even Carolina, who's been a very contender for a lot of upsets, when they have McCaffrey on the field. So, if you're the Ravens, you really got to change your scheme and start going back to the drawing board and doing a lot more of what fits, Lamar's game. Otherwise, the season's going to be rough going forward for him. And New England, as a Pats fan, you got to come to the understanding of, if they get the playoffs, cool. They're probably not going to go far. I mean, I'd almost bet a lot of money they're not going to go far. Don't expect it. So, you almost are happy with a loss. It's just a better draft pick at this point. If they get you some wins to watch, that's cool. Sit around and watch some wins. But, you're kind of at the point where you can't get mad at a loss because at this point, like I said, it's just better seeding for a better draft pick. And with that, we're going to roll this break out of the way. Stick around. Might be a little bit of a shorter show tonight because, again, we only have football going on and there is only 2 of us. So with that being said, it could end a little early. So if you're going to call in after the break, 508-222-1320. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. MVP Sports Talk Radio Live in Attleboro. What is this car doing out front? Drive-by? Poorly executed drive-by?
Leave him be.
All right, fair enough. Just took off. Yeah, so coming back in, I do want to look at the Ravens' schedule going forward. If I can do this here. So, looking at the Ravens' schedule. Ooh, all right. I like it. So, we got Titans Sunday. So, I said that, and I didn't even realize they were playing the Titans Sunday. So, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, if they haven't adapted anything, then it's not going to go the way they want it to go. It's going to be very similar to the New England outcome.
Right.
The Ravens are very stagnant in the first half, which, even for a team like New England to have a pretty good first half, based on how they've been this year, you kind of really are dropping the ball in the first half. Then they have the Steelers again coming up after the Titans. The Cowboys, which will win. The Browns will probably win. Jaguars, they should win. Giants, they should win. Bengals, they probably should win. So, I mean, you really have the Titans and the Steelers to kind of shape it up. You know, you beat the Titans, you drop to the Steelers, then you're skating in a pretty good spot come playoff time. But if they drop both, then, you know, arguably they're going to have a tougher seed going into playoffs and matching up with a team they might not do well against. I'm just trying to see here. Yes, I mean, they stomped on the Browns the first time they played them. Stomped on the Texans, who didn't. Struggled against the Eagles. Stomped on the Bengals first time. So, I mean, really, you know, Pittsburgh obviously gave them a battle the first time, but, you know, they've had a pretty good run so far. It's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to Tennessee this week. And if they drop to Tennessee, then I think that Baltimore game is going to be a bloodbath against them. You know, now that we're kind of into the season and every team's kind of developed their go-to. And then I also wanted to check in on Arizona's schedule. See how their schedule looks coming up. So they get the Seahawks tomorrow. That's a good Thursday night game. Now, who do you... It's Seahawks and the Cardinals tomorrow night, 8:20. It's a pretty good battle. Then they get the Pats following that on Sunday, the 29th. And then the Rams, which, you know, the Rams is a weird one. A lot of people are counting the Rams to beat New England. And then, you know, you're going to see them play the Cardinals. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. And they actually have two games with the Rams, one December 6th and one January 3rd. They have the Niners and the Giants. It should be fine against them. So it'll be really interesting to see how the Pats line up. I think if you have Gilmore playing, a healthy Gilmore playing, then I see New England beating Arizona. I know not something Ryan and Drew will agree with or want to hear, but you know, I think with a healthy defense and you have Gilmore, JC's been great so far. You know, if you get a full performance out of Gilmore, I think you can shut down the Arizona offense. They don't have enough depth beyond, you know, your go-to guys. So you're going to have a decent running game out of Kenyon Drake, but if you shut down D-Hop and Larry Fitz, you know, arguably they're pretty minimalized at that point. So it'll be interesting to see. Defensively, that could be trouble. Rumors have it Edelman will be back this weekend, if not the weekend after, which would be just in time for the Cardinals matchup. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be great to see how they mix Myers and Edelman on the field at the same time. Hopefully, was Isaiah Ford? Is that his first name?
Yes.
Hopefully, he'll get in the mix. I know he was suited up last week, but ineligible for game time. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I almost forgot that we have him on the team. So
It's not really a household name.
no.
So
what's your take on the Pats? You know, where do you see him going, or the NFL as a whole? What are you thinking? You know, playoff wise, Super Bowl wise.
Super Bowls, no. It's not gonna be a Super Bowl.
No, not for the Pats. It says the NFL. So who are you liking right now? Who are you thinking? You know, standout teams, maybe surprise teams.
Surprise team, I'd say Arizona. For sure.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
I feel like they've been building towards it for a while, but
Right.
I think defensively they did a lot better than I thought they would.
Right. I still think you're going to have Tampa and most likely Seattle in the final, the conference game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'll probably have Pittsburgh and Kansas City.
I'm just looking at the league standings here. The NFC East, man, is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Kansas City's such a tough team now. I mean, they just...
Annoyingly so.
They can win in so many different ways. That's what it is.
Let me see. Just trying to pull up the... There we go. I mean... Yeah, 8-1. Kansas City's got their division unlocked. There's just no way they're going to lose two more games while, you know, the Raiders don't lose.
What's their record at right now?
8-1. KC. Raiders 6-3.
Yeah.
Coming up, the Chiefs have the Raiders Sunday, which divisional game. Maybe they get
That's it.
at
Kansas City, right?
no at Vegas. Last game was at KC.
I could see them losing that game.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them going down too.
if-
The problem is, where do they get the other loss? If Drew Brees is back by December 20th, then they're playing the Saints with a healthy Drew Brees. Maybe the Dolphins upset. The Dolphins are coming into form strong. I don't see the Broncos upsetting. I definitely don't see the Chargers upsetting. I don't see the Falcons
I can
upsetting.
see the Chargers.
You think so?
Yeah. I'd say that before the Dolphins.
I mean, you got Buccaneers. I would think that the Buccaneers and the Saints are going to be
I
the
think
two
the Bucs can give
challenges.
them a challenge. I mean, that defense is young, man. They fly around.
Yeah,
I still like them going to the Super Bowl.
the Bucks.
Oh.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, that Saints loss was embarrassing, but sometimes you need that kick in the rear to get you back on
Yeah,
track.
they beat them the week one, too. Beat them week one. The
Yeah.
Saints have just always had that number.
So let's see. I want to see Vegas' schedule too. So maybe I think even if let's see the schedule here. Yeah, I mean they have a pretty easy schedule. So you're gonna have the Chiefs, and you have Falcons, Jets, Colts, Chargers, Dolphins, Broncos. Maybe the Dolphins give them hell, but other than that, I really see them winning out. So if
Definitely
they,
possible.
huh?
It's definitely possible.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
win out.
if they win out, maybe they go even with the Chiefs if the Chiefs drop two more. But I think the Chiefs are going to finish it 14-2. I think maybe they lose to the Raiders, or they're going to lose another game like the Bucs or the Saints. I don't think they'll end with 3 losses, but it's totally possible that if Vegas beats them and they lose, they could lose to the Saints and the Bucs. So. Anything's possible. We haven't seen a Mahomes injury yet this year.
Oh, boy.
And last year he had
You
5.
putting some bad juju on my man.
I'm expecting an injury.
Oh, my God.
I'm expecting an injury.
Oh, my God. He on that game mode.
I don't want to put that on him. I don't wish injuries on anybody. I believe there's going to be one. And I think it will come from Tampa Bay or New Orleans.
The only injury I really wish on someone is David Tyree. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have anyone else really. Maybe not. I don't really have anyone I wish injuries on, but I think he's due for one. I think a team like Tampa Bay could give it to him. Maybe the Saints.
Hopefully not.
I think he's going to get one.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, but I do foresee it. So if it happens, you heard it here, and I didn't pay anybody off.
Nick's the hitman.
Yeah, so I'm worried about. I mean, there's a lot of New England games that are going to be a toss-up. I'm worried about the Dolphin matchup, kind of. I'm worried about the Rams matchup a little bit. Arizona, I really think Pats can beat Arizona. I'm more worried about the Rams than I think I am Arizona. The Rams just match up.
I'm not worried about the Rams.
I'm not really either, but I'm
Like-
worried more about the Rams than I would be
So why is that
Arizona.
even a thing? Like, the Rams aren't even like a good team this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe with the upset last week on Seattle, which to me seemed like
Yeah, but I mean, look how many times the Rams have been blown out. Look at their
barely beat
look
the
at their
Cowboys.
yeah.
They stomped the Eagles. Close
Yeah, but
game.
the Eagles are
Close
horrible.
game with the Bills.
Eagles are absolutely
Close
garbage.
game with the Giants. Beat Washington.
Yeah, with who? The who?
Yeah.
The
Beat-
Giants.
Yeah, beat Washington.
Giants are like the worst
Lose
team
to
in the history of
Niners,
teams.
Beat the Bears. Lost to Dolphins.
Sorry, Murph.
Yeah, lose to the Dolphins. The Seahawks win was beyond me. I put a decent amount of money on Seattle to win that game, and I got embarrassed. That one hurt. I don't. Maybe it was a trap game. I don't know what happened. Russell Wilson looked like crap. He's looked like crap the last 2 weeks. Russell Wilson is vastly falling out of the MVP position. I don't know. And Seattle's weird. They've had a ton of close games all season.
Right.
I mean, they did beat the Falcons pretty handily, but the very, very close game that comes down to a 1 yard line with the Pats. The Cowboys, they beat by 7. they beat the Dolphins by 8, but then they beat the Vikings by 1. You lose to the Cardinals in overtime. They beat the Niners, get crushed by the Bills, to lose by 10. They didn't look good in the game either. And then you come in to LA and lose to the Rams by 7, and it looked terrible fantasy wise. I think Russell put up like 9 points.
Right.
Just a terrible game. Metcalf barely had any numbers. A couple interceptions. It was just a bad game.
Right.
So, do you still consider him MVP contender? Do you take him out of the bracket and say prove it back? Who is the MVP right now? Do you think?
I mean, by default, it's gonna go to Mahomes.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
which irks me.
Yeah.
Irks me. Oh my god. Which do we have? Did we get the contract update for Casey with who was Ed Reed? Not Ed Reed.
No, Andy Reid.
Andy Reid.
Yeah, that's not gonna affect anything.
I thought it was another contract too.
Yeah, that won't affect anything.
So let me see here. Just want to see the Rams schedule. The Rams, the Rams are 6-3, which is kind of surprising. You get the Niners, who they'll beat. You get the Bucks Monday, so that'll be a good matchup. I think the Bucks should break the Rams off their little high they're on. Couple more games. Seahawks again. Cardinals again. The Rams got a pretty rough schedule. They got the Cardinals twice, and they got the Seahawks, the Pats, and the Bucks. It was a pretty tough schedule. The Niners, who they already lost to. Aside from the Jets, they have a tough, 2, 4, 6 games that are very tough coming up out of 7. I mean, they could easily just tank the season right here. So, I think right now you can't count the Rams in anything. You can't take them serious so they get through this hump of the year. Aside from that, they've played a bunch of low-end teams. Maybe they got lucky against Seattle. Maybe it was just that special matchup that you get once in a while, but we'll see how it goes for them in the next few games. With that, we're going to take the top of the hour break. Don't forget, we're going to be ending early tonight, probably around maybe 1:15 or so. We'll see what happens. So call in 508-222-1320. Welcome back. Welcome back. MVP Sports Talk Radio. So we're going to be wrapping it up here pretty shortly. Probably around, quarter past the hour or so. Obviously with two people in studio, it's harder to keep things going. What I meant to do over the break, and I didn't do, was to check in on the betting odds. So with that, I'm going to need Tim to burn some time here so I can check that out. So, Tim,
What do you need from me?
burn some time.
Burn some time. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the story once about this. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to tell you a story.
I'm going to tell you a story.
I'm going to tell you about my wins.
Let me tell you about my town. What's going on with the whole NHL, man? I haven't heard much, have you?
Nothing much. Just, really nothing.
Really
honestly.
nothing. I know the NBA is starting up December 22nd.
Yeah, let me see if I can get the NHL startup time. What is happening with Google? Which, is the NBA going to be doing bubbles again?
They haven't decided yet, I don't believe.
So, last 2 days ago, it's the NHL working on the 2021 schedule and hoping not to rush anything. So, I'm guessing they're trying to decide on a bubble or not.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes, as a pandemic, realities could force the NHL to mix and match setups, including both modified bubble/hub cities, and also having teams operate in their own arenas with or without fans.
Right.
Ultimately, the NHL needs to be willing to improvise, and that goes for the schedule and venue planning now, and the possibility also during the 2021 NHL season. We have to build flexibility for the hiccups that we expect will come along, and have to expect with COVID positives and contact tracing requirements that we have to have plans in place. Some of the difficulties that the MLB went through and some of the difficulties that the NFL are currently dealing with, and how do we address those type of situations in context of our own schedule. Those are all the things we're working on now and hope to have everything figured out fairly soon. Let's see here if it says. So as of right now, we do not have January 1st as the opening date, as a wishful start point. You also need to ponder training camps, travel, and other factors before even planning the first games. We know there's some urgency for making decisions, and while we want to drop the puck on January 1st, we also recognize that we're not going to rush into a bad decision just to make... it just cuts it off there. But anyway, so apparently they don't know. So when we know, we'll talk more on it. Nothing's been happening really trade-wise. NHL's been pretty dull. Just looking here to see if there's anything I missed, but I mean, there just isn't. Yeah, I mean, literally, Panthers hired a new GM, and that's literally about it. So, not much happening hockey-wise. Still planning in the season, still planning a start date, so no splashes going on. MLB-wise, Theo Epstein steps down after 9 seasons of leading the Cubs. Obviously, you saw that the Sox signed Alex Cora, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Some people think it's good. I don't know. Hiring a cheater. Bad image. Drew Smythe agrees to an 11 mil 1 year contract with the Braves. And that's about it. Not much happened in the MLB either. NBA, we talked about it. Also, actually, Tim, you know what we can get is, the draft, your draft breakdown a little bit, if you got it, while I look here on these picks.
I don't really have much in the draft. The draft's tonight, right?
I don't know.
No, it could be tomorrow.
Is it tonight?
I know the Celtics are trying to move to number 3 for some reason.
Yeah,
they want to get in the
they're
top
hopeful
3.
to move up.
Yeah, it is tonight. Okay, so trade rumors are flying. Let's see if we can get a little bit of some trade stuff going on here. Let me pipe into the old
So the
pipeline
Knicks
here.
moved up.
Looking like Klay Thompson is going to be suffering from a leg injury. That could be a big blow for the Warriors. Let's see what we got here. Wow. So it looks like Anthony Edwards is going to go to Minnesota with the number 1 pick. He is out of Georgia. Some of you guys who follow, that is number 5. And looks like today Andrew Wiggins is finalizing a multi-year shoe deal with a Chinese brand named Peak. I believe Peak is also the shoe brand that Rajon Rondo wears. And let's see. There's talks of Minnesota as well might move that pick. So the Celtics right now, they sit at 14, 26, and 30. So 3 picks in the first round. I'm sure you could probably package, if not 2 of those, maybe all 3, and get yourself up a little higher. Obviously, the Celtics don't have as much room on their roster to carry those 3 young picks. If they did, I would definitely imagine that some more trades will be coming. Again, we talked earlier in the night about the possibility of Gordon Hayward being shopped. And it's now looking like the Rockets have traded Trevor Ariza to the Pistons. And number 16 overall is also going to go with him for a future first. So looks like Houston's trying to save a little bit of money. Maybe they're trying to make a move for another star. If you missed it earlier tonight, Al Horford was traded to the Thunder. Looks like they sent Horford in a first-round pick and a second-round pick to the Thunder for Danny Green. Wow, that's a lot. Al Horford, a first-round pick and a second-round pick for Danny Green. Wow, what is going on in Philly? Wow, unreal. Looks like the injury for Klay Thompson is a right leg injury, and it happened during a workout, and he's going to undergo further testing. So hopefully for the Bucks and for anyone who really enjoys the sport of basketball, hopefully he can figure that out and he'll be okay. And I'm just trying to see.
Might butcher his name. Bogdanovich?
Bogdanovich?
Yeah, looks like he's going to enter restricted free agency.
Yeah.
Won't strike a deal with the Bucks. Is that someone you could see coming here or no?
Let's look at this right here. Bogdan Bogdanovic trade is in parallel after Kings forward never agreed to join Milwaukee. Okay. That could be someone coming here. I mean, I don't know if it's his first option, but I could see him here. They got to do something. You know, I'll tell you, Cole Anthony's going to be one that I'm going to be watching.
I'm reading here. Rockets traded Covington to the Blazers for 2 first-round picks, and Trevor Ariza indicated that Houston wasn't done dealing for the night. Let's see, what else do we got here?
Yeah, see, so I'm reading this right here. The Rockets right now want a massive return for James Harden, and I just don't think that anyone out there is going to make that move.
Yeah, I feel like the teams that could get him will probably wait the year.
So the team that I couldn't remember earlier that was trying to get Gordon Hayward is Atlanta. So the Atlanta Hawks. Now, I happen to know the Atlanta Hawks have a very good center down there, named Clint Capella. He signed last year, joined the team. He came over from Houston. He was one that was rumored to have ties to Boston. Maybe you try to make a play where you send Gordon Hayward and a couple first-round picks or a first-round pick, and you try to get back Clint Capella. Great defender, lengthy, gets rebounds. He plays, very aggressive on the defensive side of the ball. Won't really help you out too much as far as spreading the floor or, his offensive side, but he's a very good defensive center. That's definitely someone that could come over to Boston and help them almost immediately and expand Jason Tatum's growth. And, of course, everyone wants to know where Melo is going to go.
Let's see here. And while Tim's looking at that, we're going to get the lock of the week. Oh, what's this here? Drew said Atlanta and Indiana, right? I believe it's true.
Now, see, if I could get Indiana, there's two names I'm interested over there. Obviously, Oladipo, but I'm really interested in Miles Turner.
Harden to Brooklyn or Philly?
If I can get Miles Turner, yeah, I saw Meek Mills trying to get Harden to Philly. That would also make sense to move for Al Horford because they're trying to open up salary cap. But why wouldn't you try to trade him in that package?
True.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you even had Westbrook, Al Horford still keeps you kind of competitive. If Al can play like
or do
he
you get
was
the
here.
picks and you plan on waiting the year to get Harden when he's
Right.
in free agency?
Right.
You know, we don't have to trade. We'll wait the year. We know he's not going to re-sign. Ryan said Turner in all caps. Yes.
Yeah, I think Turner would be a huge, huge trade piece for us. I mean, I think you have Turner with, Brown, Tatum, Kemba, and you continue to find a power forward or whatever. I think it really helps you.
Let's see here. I want to just check real quick. Sorry, not check. I want to touch in on the lock of the week. We'll get you your thoughts. So the lock of the week, we're going to lock it in right now. We got Green Bay Packers covering the underdog, the 1.5 spread. So they're obviously projected to lose as of right now to the Colts. So we got them plus 1.5 against the Colts. And we're taking the Saints minus a 5 over the Atlanta Falcons. A $40 wager pays out $104 plus your money back. It's $144 cash out total. Good chance to just over double your money. Take a 2.3 multiplier on your money. Why not? So that's our lock of the week. Drew and Ryan, if you're chatting still, hear your feedback on that lock of the week. Again, lock of the week is 3-1. We didn't do one last week, I believe it was. So we're back at it this week, locking that in. And there's a lot of good odds this week that I was looking at. This is a good week to gamble. Packers money line instead. Yeah, I mean, I could take the money line, but the payout was just about the same, and I'd rather just cover, you get basically getting the free point. So that's why I took that. Very similar payout. I think it was like a $5 or $6 difference on the payout, should you have taken the money line. But again, that 1 point security. Why not? Even if Atlanta was a pull to win, it's going to be a nail-biter of a game. So maybe that 1 point is your security line. Maybe not. But, yeah, that's why we went with that. Maybe the Saints is a trap game, but Saints minus 5 against Atlanta Falcons after, big Bucks win. I know they're relying big on no Drew Brees, but, I got a lot of confidence in the Saints as a whole, with or without Drew Brees. So I do think they'll pull out that win. And there's a reason why, without their starting quarterback, they're favorites, right? So they're, big game. I was dead wrong on Seattle last week, so I'm not going to touch Seattle. Right now, Seattle's favored to beat Arizona minus a 3. Thought about taking Arizona plus 3. But, again, Seattle got their butts whooped by L.A., butts whooped by Buffalo. This could very well be the game where they come back and get a statement win, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of the bet. And, I mean, your problem with the minus 3, like you saw last time, could be a nail-biter, could be a 2-point game, could be, 1-point game. So it's a very risky game to touch the money, the spread with. Money line, again, maybe you go with Seattle for the statement win, or if you don't and you take Arizona and they get beat up, it's just risky. Cincy plus 1 at Washington. Yeah, that's a good one too. Like I said, man, there's a ton of good options all across the board. Just when I was looking, I mean, I really didn't even look at all of them. The first couple games I saw, I liked. I think it could be a really good week across the board, with a 3 or a 4 team spread parlay. But yeah, I'm going to agree. Cincy at Washington plus 1 is pretty good, since he's a sleeper team. Yep, Cardinals, Seattle. Yeah, like I said, I'm really going to try to avoid the game tomorrow. You got a Thursday night showdown. You got Arizona coming in with a nail biter win against Buffalo. You got Seattle coming in off 2 losing streak. I don't see Pete Carroll allowing them to go down 3 in a row. I think that's why Seattle's favorited, because I don't see Seattle going down 3 in a row. Totally possible. A team like Arizona could totally do it. It's just with the showdown you saw last time, I really don't see Seattle losing. But I'm not going to touch it. Just let that be clear. I'm not touching the gambling. Tennessee coming off a long week at +6.5 in Baltimore. Yeah, I do. I do like that a lot. Like I said earlier, I think Tennessee is a team that could beat Baltimore. Baltimore is going to struggle against any solid run team. That's why they didn't do well against Pittsburgh. That's why they didn't do well against New England. That's why they didn't do well against KC. So I could totally see Tennessee with what I don't even think would be an upset, but by gambling standpoint is an upset. I could definitely see Tennessee winning that. And I kind of touched on it earlier. It's just, Vrabel set the book last year for the Ravens. Coming into it this year, everyone's kind of got the tape on them. You're going to have Derrick Henry. I think he's going to run all over the Baltimore defense. I think it could be a good showing.
You got a break up there?
Yeah, we're just kind of dragging it. We'll probably end the show with it.
Take the break. We'll come back.
We'll take the break, and we'll come back. 508-222-1320. Welcome back. Welcome back. So diving back in. So Ryan, Tennessee didn't lose 4 straight.
No, 3 straight. He said.
I thought he said 4 straight. No, 4. He said 4 straight. I don't think Tennessee loses 4 straight. Which they wouldn't because they beat the Bears. Actually, I'll pull it up here. Yeah, so beat the Texans, slaughtered the Bills, lost to the Steelers, lost to the Bengals, beat the Bears, lost to the Colts. So they're on a 1-game losing streak. It would be the 4th loss total.
Still a playoff team. What?
I was just reading this thing here. He said 4-way parlay: Titans plus 230, Pats minus 130, Packers plus the 1.5, Bengals with the money line 105. $20 pays out $437. Phew, tempting.
Say that again.
So you got Titans money line, Pats money line, Packers with the plus 1.5 spread, Bengals money line. $20 pays $437. So 5 would pay what?
Tempting.
Almost 110, like 109. Very tempting. I don't like how tempting that is. Like I said, tons of good options. Cincy would be my only real worry there, I feel like. I definitely see the Titans.
Jameis Wiseman went to the Warriors. That's huge.
Wow.
Huge.
Yes, I mean, like the Titans, so you look at, they banged up the Bills. Bengals kind of, I don't know, is that a trap game? How do you call that game? I don't know. But, I mean, you see that, the Steelers barely beat the Titans. Just looking at, like, the Titan matchups, they do well against teams that don't have a good run defense. I really don't see your only difference would be the Ravens coming off a loss. They're going to play better. They're going to change things up. But I definitely see the Titans beating them. Definitely a good opportunity there. I don't know if I'd put them in a $20 parlay, but if I'm throwing $5 or $10 in, I could definitely take them. Cincy, Cincy's weird. I'm always just skeptical of Cincy as a whole, but I want to look up the schedule here. The Titans win was huge. I feel like every game they're pretty competitive in. Definitely were competitive against the Browns, competitive against the Eagles. They tied the Eagles, so, first week they lose to the Chargers. Do you really count that? I don't know. Again, almost beat the Browns week 2. Tie the Eagles. Beat the Jags. Got embarrassed by the Ravens the last time. I don't know. But, it's Washington. So Washington's one of those teams where, like, they'll win a stupid game when they're not supposed to win. But I definitely could see Cincy winning it. Especially Cincy over Washington. Lock of the week. Especially if they get Mixon back. Yeah, I tend to agree. And, they got a lot of younger receivers kind of stepping up down in Cincy, too. So, I can definitely see them beating Washington. I'm going to take a quick peek at Washington this year. Also, 2-7. Cincy's 2-6-1. And, let's see here. Cards. Washington. Who did Washington beat? Beat the Eagles week 1. Man. Beat the Cowboys. Lost to the Giants. Lost to the Ravens. Cards. Lost to the Browns. Well, we're going to take the break that we were pushing off, and we'll come back and talk a little bit about the Saints. So if you haven't noticed, we're going a little bit longer than planned, and Tim definitely 100% just locked himself out of studio. So we're going to take the break so I can let him back in the studio. So stick around, 508-222-1320. welcome back. And song goes out in memory of Heather Rocha, Tim's sister, for those that don't know, passed away this past weekend. We will put up a GoFundMe link on the page if anybody's interested in donating. Obviously, funerals are pricey, and with an unexpected loss, definitely tough on the family. We appreciate him being in here tonight with me. And so, of course, keep the family in your thoughts and prayers if you're religious. And I definitely hear back plays on my phone.
Yeah. That's yours.
One time I do that. But yeah, so, thoughts and prayers are always welcome. We're religious, so if you are, we appreciate that. Like I said, we will put that link up. If you want to donate, you may, or, just thoughts and prayers always work as well. Kicking back into the sports aspect, I know you wanted to touch on Drew Brees or the Saints in general, maybe?
Yeah. What's the next step for Drew Brees?
As far as a career?
As far as career. So, how old is he? I know he's, hitting Brady's numbers.
Yeah, he's got to be, I think he's 40 on the dot.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm guessing.
So, arguably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, since, we've started
41.
watching, ever since we started watching football, he's always been top 3 quarterbacks, right? It's usually him, Peyton, and Brady. Maybe a year where, Big Ben was above him or whatever. But at the end of the day, he's one of the best to ever play the game, right? And people wrote him off when he was in San Diego, and, he goes to New Orleans and he leads them to a Super Bowl and resurrects his career and, many winning seasons and the things he did for the city of New Orleans when, Hurricane Katrina hit and all that. And he's had a great career, right? He's on the all-time passing list, touchdown passes, things like that. We've seen the last 2 years, him and Brady going, Brady's ahead, then Drew's ahead, then Brady's ahead, then Drew's ahead, and then now they're neck and neck, and now Brady's leading by a little, and here comes Brees. So, what happens with Brees, right? Because obviously we know the injury that he's suffering from is very similar to Drew Bledsoe. So when Bledsoe came back, he wasn't the same person. Then again, was Bledsoe ever really somebody? You know what I mean? But the collapsed lung, that's concerning. And, I mean, listen, it's part of the game. It happens. I understand that. But I feel like the older he gets, and I know he's been talking about how he wants to step away to spend time with his boys and things like that. Family becomes a major factor in that decision, right? His wife becomes a major factor in that decision. So, is this the last thing we've seen of Drew Brees? Does Drew Brees come back next year for one more? Or, does he play again this year?
Well, he's contracted right now, this year, next year.
Yep.
So I guess, I don't know. I mean, I think he's had a fairly healthy career. He's still young in terms of, old quarterbacks. But I guess it kind of comes down to personal mentality. I know he wants to be back out there. And he put up the post, with his kids today, I'll be back. I have the best doctors taking care of me. And it was his kids, with stethoscopes up to him and stuff.
Right.
So, I'm sure he definitely wants to be back. I definitely don't think it'll be a Brady scenario, where he'll go play anywhere else. And it'll be really dependent on how, the other guys do, Winston and Hill, how they work up and how they look. Will kind of determine, I think, his lengthyhood here. I think, maybe if they decide after this contract they don't want to extend it, then, I think he's done. But I think if they offer him an extension and, maybe he vibes within the team, then there's room there. A lot of it depends on guys like Michael Thomas and, other bigger names on the team, like Kamara. And, if any of them go, then I don't see him sticking around. If he doesn't, at this point, he has to be in it for, a Super Bowl or, just furthering his stats. He's not in it for the money, I would say, at this point in his career. None of them really are of that age platform. When you've had a lengthy time in the league, obviously he's doing well financially, and he's older, so he's not spending it like a young gun in the NFL. So yeah, I mean, I would say that it kind of depends on what they keep for weapons around, who they re-sign. At this point, he's in it to either A, pad his stats, maybe break a few records, have some fun doing it, or B, in it to win a Super Bowl. So a lot of that's going to come down to who the team keeps around, how they look, how they've played. They've had a decent year thus far. Beating Tampa Bay was a big one after losing the first time around. So it's really, like I said, it's really going to come down to how this year kind of plays out, how guys like Michael Thomas play out. I know he had a little bit of back and forth with the coach and, led to him getting benched. So, is that someone that re-signs? Does he go elsewhere? And that leaves Breeze wanting to be out. You have 1 year after this season, and, they haven't done anything since their, last Super Bowl. So it's kind of hard to dictate him wanting to keep coming back just to, get eliminated in the playoffs.
Right.
So maybe, this year or next year, his last 2 years in the NFL. And it'll be interesting to see how this injury plays out. It's a bad one. I think it's kind of underestimated, underrated right now in terms of injuries. But, it is a severe injury, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with him and how the team does without him, too.
Right.
So, and I also wanted to check, do they list who's going to take the start this weekend? Is it going to be Winston or Hill?
I'd imagine it's going to be Winston.
Right now it says no clear pick, but
let's go bet on it. Push your money down.
It says the favorite's Winston. Doesn't say any betting odds, though. Yeah, I would have to think that they go with Winston.
I'd be very surprised if they didn't.
Yeah. At least they have an easy challenge right now. But I actually do want to check their schedule for the road ahead. Again, no clear indication on how long he'll be out. And I think they said like 4 weeks or something, but that seems kind of shallow for fractured ribs. Being that quarterbacks often get hit from the frontal side or the ribs in general, and you don't really go for a quarterback's legs. You're not really allowed to for the most part. So let's see their road ahead. Get the Falcons this week, Broncos, Falcons, Eagles. That's a really easy 4-game stretch to milk out not having your starting quarterback.
No, I agree.
If he's out for 5 weeks, he's going to miss the Saints-Chiefs matchup, which could really shake things up. But that's a great game for him to come back to. That is a heavy-hitting defense for him to come back to on the counter side. So, I mean, a lot could happen leading up to that Chiefs game. If you get him back for then, it could be a big deal. The other thing I see, too, though, is, that Chiefs game's the 20th of December. They do play on Christmas, so I don't think he'll cheat that Chiefs game. If it were to be, they didn't play on Christmas Day, I could see him sitting out till Christmas just for the kids' sake and saying he needs the extra week because why not? He's Drew Brees. But they're playing the Vikings on Christmas, so, I don't see him sitting out 6 weeks. I mean, he could. Fractured ribs, it's really not anything to you wouldn't question it. But I don't see him coming back just for the last week.
Right.
So I would probably stick to the 4-week timeline, and I feel like depending on how they do this weekend, if they play well against Atlanta, then I think they sweep the 4 games and they don't even have to worry about missing them, which is a blessing for that team. So it'll be interesting to see.
And I definitely agree, 100%.
Just reading comments here. Let's see. This is Ryan talking about the Washington matchup. But, do you have anything else? Final thoughts? Or what are we doing? We ending it here? We got a break on the line. It's your call. Your call to make. Put this show in your hands.
Saying to me or to Ryan?
You,
oh, sorry. I thought we were still talking to Ryan. I was like, wait a minute.
No.
That's Phyllis. Let's, What are you thinking?
Huh?
What are you thinking?
I don't know.
Let's send her.
Keep it going?
Let's send her off. we'll end a little early.
You heard it from the Chief. Santa Cross. Ended a little early tonight.
Could you pause that for just 1 second for me? I know you touched on it earlier, but I wanted to take the time. I know some of the people that have reached out and checked in on me and my family over the last couple of weeks, and especially over since Sunday. It's definitely been a tough time, but I am extremely blessed for the family and the friends that I have around us. And I just wanted to thank everyone again from the bottom of my heart for reaching out and making sure that, if there's anything that we needed, then, that we got it. And just wanted to, again, just say thank you. And I really do have some of the best support system around. So with that being said, especially Nick and your family, you guys helped out tremendously, huge. It was a big help. I can't thank you guys and, especially you and your dad and your mom enough. So I really appreciate you guys. And, I do believe when Fast and the Furious said, I don't have friends, I have family.
Don't make me cry.
I've definitely got family, man. So, again, can't thank you guys enough. Yeah, that's it.
Well, I mean, again, your family to me.
Yeah.
It's the least we could do. And obviously, Heather's like a sister to me.
Right.
So, I mean, I know it's very hard on you. Obviously, it's very hard on me as well.
Right.
And I'd definitely say watching that video definitely made it that much harder today.
It got me, man.
But again,
I
know you do the same for me, so it's not questionable.
I find comfort in, now she can go to Disney World as much as she wants.
Amen.
And she doesn't have to pay for it. That's the best part.
Facts.
So
I'll do.
And she's not suffering. So
yeah, definitely a big one.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know, but it's she's been battling for a while. So I know, for anyone that I loved, I wouldn't want suffering on them. So, there is that bit of light.
Yeah.
And I know that she's in heaven.
Yeah.
Very religious, so that is, the best.
Again, weird signs all day, man. Weird signs all day.
Yeah.
But other than that, let's send it off.
Yeah, again, so...
Just want to take the time, again, thank everybody.
Yeah, of course, man. And like I said, we'll put that GoFundMe up on the page if anyone out there feels like donating. You don't have to by any means. We know times are tough with COVID. And I guess that's kind of, why there is GoFundMe, because it is crazy times in society right now.
It is.
But with that, Nick and Tim signing off. Phyllis called in, and you know the deal. Closing time. Tune in next week. Should have Ryan in studio. Myself, I believe Tim. I don't know about Drew because my man got this new job, and it's, he's working different nights. So we'll see how that comes out in the future. But on that note, thanks for tuning in. We love y'all. Stay safe. Stay blessed.